The mysterious monolith of Tlaloc, the 168-ton Aztec god that moved a nation. Imagine a 168-ton stone giant, a carving so massive that moving it required a nationwide operation, police escorts, military assistance, and thousands of cheering villagers lining the roads. But what if I told you this stone is not just a sculpture, it's a five-tier mystery involving ancient powers, political drama, Aztec mythology, and even a curse that locals still talk about today. Today, we are diving into the unbelievable story of the monolith of Tlaloc, the Aztec god of rain, water, lightning, and agriculture. Let's begin. Who is Tlaloc? Before we understand the statue, we must understand the god. In Aztec mythology, Tlaloc was the god who controlled rain, the protector of farmers, the bringer of lightning, and sometimes the god who caused floods and droughts. He is usually shown with goggle like eyes, a frog like mouth, fangs, and symbols of water and storms. Aztecs believed Tlaloc lived in Tlalocan, a paradise filled with water, plants, and eternal spring. He was both loved and feared because if he was happy, crops flourished. If he was angry, famine, storms, and destruction followed. Now imagine discovering a 7-meter tall, unfinished sculpture of such powerful god after hundreds of years. This is where the story begins. The discovery. The year was the late 1800s. In a small town called Coatlinchan, villagers were digging a dry stream bed to create an irrigation canal. They just wanted water for their crops, but instead, their shovels hit something enormous, a massive stone, then a shape, then a face. Slowly, the villagers realized they had uncovered a colossal monolith. Archaeologists rushed in and were stunned. This was no ordinary stone. This was an unfinished statue of Tlaloc, weighing a jaw-dropping 168 tons, one of the largest monolith sculptures ever found in the Americas. The entire village became famous overnight. But this was only the beginning. The monolith's identity mystery. Even though most experts agreed it represented Tlaloc, some archaeologists believed it might actually be Chalchi Utle, the goddess of rivers and lakes, or another ancient deity lost to time. Why? Because the carving was unfinished, making some details unclear. But the locals, they believed in one thing. This stone belongs to our town. For almost 100 years, the monolith remained right there in Coatlinchan. It became a symbol of identity, a guardian spirit, a reminder of their ancient past. Little did they know, the government had other plans. The Great Move of 1963. In 1963, Mexico planned to open the National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City. They wanted the Tlaloc monolith as the grand centerpiece outside the museum. But how do you move a 168-ton stone that weighs more than a Boeing 747? They built a custom giant trailer, one of the largest ever made in Mexico. They planned a 29-mile journey from the Coatlichan to Mexico City. They deployed police, engineers, soldiers, and hundreds of workers. But the villagers objected. They said, Tlaloc protected us. If he leaves, disaster will follow. Protest broke out. Many villagers cried. Some even physically stood in front of the monolith. Finally, a deal was made. The government promised the village a new water system in exchange for the sculpture. The villagers agreed. And then came the moment the world remembers, the day Tlaloc moved. On April 16, 1964, thousands of people lined the roads. Some cheered, some wept, some feared a curse. When the trailer started moving, something unbelievable happened. It began to rain. Remember, Tlaloc is the god of rain. People said Tlaloc is crying as he leaves his home. Others said he is blessing the journey. The rain continued almost the entire way. Even today, Mexicans call it the rain that Tlaloc brought. The monolith in the Mexico City. After a long dramatic journey, the sculpture finally reached the National Museum of Anthropology. It was placed at the entrance as a symbol of Mexico's ancient history, its indigenous culture, and the power of the Aztec civilization. Even today, the monolith stands outside the museum, greeting millions of visitors every year. It's so large that engineers had to build a reinforced foundation to hold its weight. But the legend didn't stop there. Some visitors report that it rains unexpectedly whenever major ceremonies happen near Tlaloc. Strange clouds echo near the stone, and many believe the god still watches over the city. Is it superstition, coincidence, or something deeper? No one knows. The bigger meaning. The monolith of Tlaloc is not just a stone, it represents the power of ancient civilizations, the connection between people and nature, the importance of cultural identity, and the struggle between local communities and national authorities. It also shows how a single artifact can bring a village together, divide opinions, and create legends that survive for generations. From being buried underground to being worshipped by villagers to being transported like a king through a storm, the monolith has lived many lives. So, what do you think? Was the rain during its journey a coincidence? Or did Tlaloc himself speak? And should the monolith have stayed in its original home? Or does it belong in a national museum? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this mysterious story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such fascinating history and mysteries. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.